Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so happy you are here today. Today's topic is one of my favorite topics, summer. I love summer so much. The warm weather, the long days, the holidays, everything about summer makes me happy. Summer is a great topic to talk about in English because there are so many simple and fun words to learn. Whether you love hot weather or prefer something cooler, I think you will enjoy today's conversation. My friend Mark is here with me again. Mark, are you excited about today's topic? I cannot wait to hear what you think about summer.
Hello, everyone. I am so glad to be here. My name is Mark, and yes, I am very excited about today's topic. Summer is such a wonderful season. It is the time for holidays, sunshine, ice cream, and spending time with friends and family. In this podcast, Anna and I will talk about everything related to summer: the weather, activities, food, travel, and more. We will use simple English so it is easy for everyone to follow along. Even if you are just starting to learn English, don't worry, we will speak slowly and clearly. I hope this conversation helps you learn new words and feel more confident in English. Let's begin.
Mark, let me start with a simple question. What is your favorite thing about summer? For me, it is definitely the sunshine. I love waking up in the morning and seeing a bright blue sky. In winter, the days are short and gray, but in summer, the sun rises early and sets late. There is so much light. I feel so much happier and more energetic in summer. The warm weather also makes me want to go outside and be active. I love walking in the park, sitting in a cafe outside, or just reading a book in the garden. Sunshine really changes my mood completely. What about you, Mark?
Anna, I love the sunshine too, but my favorite thing about summer is the long evenings. In summer, it stays light until 9 or even 10 o'clock at night. That means more time to enjoy the outdoors after work or school. I love sitting outside with friends in the evening, having a cold drink and just talking and relaxing. There is something very special about a warm summer evening. Everything feels slower and more relaxed. People seem happier and friendlier too. I also love that in summer you can do so many activities outside. Barbecues, walks, outdoor cinema, festivals. Summer evenings are truly magical. They are my absolute favorite part of the season.
Oh, yes, summer evenings are so beautiful. I love them too. Mark, let's talk about summer weather. Summer means hot weather for most people, but how hot do you like it? I personally love warm weather, but not too hot. Around 25 degrees Celsius is perfect for me. When it is over 35 degrees, I find it too hot. I feel tired and uncomfortable. I drink a lot of water, stay in the shade, and try not to go outside in the middle of the day. What temperature do you prefer in summer? And do you have any tips for staying cool when it is very hot outside? Hot weather can be tough.
25 degrees is perfect. I agree with you, Anna. I also love warm weather, but extreme heat is very difficult. When it is very hot, I drink a lot of cold water, maybe 2 or 3 liters a day. I also wear light, loose clothing. Light colors like white and yellow are best because they do not absorb as much heat as dark colors. I also use a fan or air conditioning at home. Taking a cold shower in the afternoon is wonderful when it is hot. And I try to do outdoor activities in the morning or evening, not at midday when the sun is strongest. Staying hydrated is the most important thing in hot weather.
Great tips, Mark. Staying hydrated is so important. I always carry a water bottle with me in summer. Mark, let's talk about summer holidays. Do you take a holiday in summer? I think summer is the most popular time for holidays. Many people travel in July and August because children are not in school. I love going on holiday in summer. Last summer, I went to the beach for 1 week. It was wonderful. I swam in the sea, ate delicious food, and relaxed in the sun. The beach is my favorite holiday destination in summer. Do you prefer the beach, the mountains, or the city for a summer holiday? What is your dream summer holiday?
I love summer holidays. Last summer, I went to a small village in the mountains. It was cooler there than in the city, which was really nice. I went hiking every day and saw beautiful views. The mountains are so peaceful and quiet. But I also love the beach. The sea, the sand, the sound of the waves. It is very relaxing. I think my dream summer holiday would be a mix of both, a few days at the beach and a few days in the mountains. I also love city trips in summer. Many cities have outdoor events and festivals in summer. There are so many options. Every type of holiday has something special to offer.
A mix of beach and mountains sounds wonderful. Mark, let's talk about summer food. I think food is one of the best parts of summer. In summer, I eat differently than in winter. I eat more salads, fresh fruits, and cold foods. My favorite summer fruit is watermelon. It is so refreshing and sweet. I also love strawberries, cherries, and peaches. They are all at their best in summer. I also enjoy ice cream a lot in summer. There are so many flavors. My favorite is lemon ice cream. It tastes so fresh and cold. Do you have favorite summer foods? I think food is one of the best things about the warm season.
Anna, I completely agree. Summer food is amazing. My absolute favorite summer food is a barbecue. I love cooking outside with friends. We grill chicken, vegetables, and corn on the cob. Everyone sits together, eats, and has fun. It is a very social kind of meal. I also love cold drinks in summer. Fresh lemonade, iced tea, and fruit smoothies. They are so refreshing on a hot day. And yes, ice cream is essential. My favorite flavor is chocolate, but I also love mango ice cream. Summer is also great for eating outside at restaurants and cafes. There's something special about eating good food in the warm sunshine with the people you love.
A barbecue sounds so fun. I love those too. Mark, let's talk about summer activities. There are so many things you can do in summer that you cannot do in other seasons. I love swimming. In summer, I go to the swimming pool or the beach very often. Swimming is great exercise and it is also very fun. I also love cycling in summer. The weather is perfect for riding a bike along a nice path. And I love having picnics in the park. I take a blanket, some food, and my friends, and we sit outside for hours. It is so simple, but so enjoyable. What are your favorite summer activities? Do you prefer outdoor sports or something more relaxing?
I love so many summer activities. I enjoy swimming too. It is the perfect way to cool down on a hot day. I also love playing beach volleyball. It is so energetic and fun. I also enjoy hiking in summer, as I mentioned before, but I also like more relaxing activities. I love reading a book outside in the shade of a tree. There's nothing better than a good book, a warm day, and a cold drink beside you. I also enjoy outdoor concerts and festivals in summer. Many cities have free outdoor music events in summer. Going to a summer festival with friends is one of my favorite summer memories. Summer is really the best season for fun.
Outdoor concerts are so much fun. I love them too. Mark, I want to talk about the beach. The beach is maybe the most popular summer destination for many people. I love going to the beach. The sound of the sea is so calming. I love to swim, but I also love to just lie on the sand and relax. I always bring sunscreen to the beach. It is very important to protect your skin from the sun. I use SPF 50, especially in the middle of the day. Some people forget sunscreen and then they get sunburned. That is very painful and also bad for your skin. Do you always use sunscreen at the beach, Mark?
Yes, sunscreen is absolutely essential. I always use it, especially at the beach. The sun at the beach is very strong. The reflection from the water and sand makes it even stronger. I use SPF 30 or 50, and I reapply it every 2 hours. I also wear a hat and sunglasses to protect my face and eyes. Staying in the shade during the midday hours from 12 to 3 in the afternoon is also a good idea. I love the beach, but I am always careful about the sun. Sunburn is very painful, and too much sun exposure is not healthy. Enjoy the beach, but always protect yourself. Good sun habits are very important for your health.
Such good advice. Sun protection is so important. Mark, let's talk about summer clothes. I love summer fashion. In summer, I wear light dresses, shorts, sandals, and colorful tops. It is so nice not to wear heavy winter coats and boots. I feel free and comfortable in summer clothes. My favorite summer color is yellow. It feels so sunny and happy. I also love floral patterns in summer. Everything looks more cheerful and bright. I always carry a light cardigan in my bag because sometimes places like shops or restaurants have very strong air conditioning and it can get cold inside. What do you like to wear in summer, Mark? Do you have a favorite summer style?
I love summer clothes too. In summer, I wear shorts, light t-shirts, and sandals. Everything is simple and comfortable. I prefer plain colors, white, light blue, and light gray. They feel cool and clean. I also always wear a cap or a hat outside to protect my head from the sun. I think the best thing about summer clothes is how easy they are. In winter, you have to think about many layers. In summer, you just put on a t-shirt and shorts and you're ready. I also agree about the cardigan tip. Air conditioning in shops and cinemas can be very cold in summer. Always have a light layer with you. It is very practical.
So practical. Mark, let's talk about summer and children. I think summer is the happiest time for children. They do not have school. They have long summer holidays, sometimes 2 or 3 months. When I was a child, I loved summer so much. I spent my summers at my grandmother's house in the countryside. We played outside every day. We ran in the fields, picked berries, played in the river, and caught butterflies. Those are some of my best childhood memories. Summer felt endless and magical when I was young. Do you have good memories from your childhood summers, Mark? I think summer memories from childhood are very special and last forever.
Oh yes, my childhood summers were the best. I grew up near the sea, so every summer we went to the beach almost every day. My parents would pack lunch and we would spend the whole day there, swimming, building sandcastles, playing in the waves. I also remember summer evenings playing football with the neighborhood kids until it was dark. Those were such simple but happy times. I also loved summer fairs and festivals in our town. There was always music, food stalls, and fun games. Childhood summers feel so free and carefree. Now, as an adult, I try to bring some of that same joy into my summers, spending time outside, relaxing, and enjoying simple pleasures.
That sounds so beautiful, Mark. Childhood summers really are magical. Now, let's talk about something different: summer and health. Summer can be very good for your health, but it can also be challenging. The sunshine gives us vitamin D, which is important for our bones and our mood. People often feel happier in summer because of the sunlight. Exercise is also easier in summer because the weather is nice and you want to be outside. But summer can also bring problems: too much sun, dehydration, and heat exhaustion. I always try to be careful about these things. Do you think summer is generally a healthy season? What do you do to stay healthy in summer?
Summer is a wonderful season for health when you are careful. The extra vitamin D from sunlight really does boost your mood and energy. I sleep better in summer too. The warmth makes me feel relaxed. I also exercise more in summer because I love being outside. I walk, swim, and cycle much more than in winter. But yes, the heat can be a risk. Drinking enough water is the #1 thing for summer health. I also eat lighter foods in summer, more salads and fruits, less heavy meals. And I try not to stay in the sun too long. Taking care of yourself in summer means you can enjoy everything the season has to offer without any problems.
So well said. Mark, let me ask about summer and travel. Summer is the most popular travel season. Airports and trains are very busy in July and August. Hotels and holidays can also be more expensive in summer. Have you ever had any travel adventures or funny travel stories from summer? I remember one summer I missed my flight because of a traffic jam on the way to the airport. It was a terrible day. But then I got on the next flight and my holiday was wonderful. Travel does not always go perfectly, but those stories become funny memories later. Do you have any memorable summer travel stories? Good or bad ones are both welcome.
Oh, I have a funny travel story. One summer, my friends and I drove to the coast for a camping trip. We were so excited. But when we arrived, we realized we forgot the tent at home. We had all our sleeping bags and food, but no tent. We had to sleep in the car that first night. It was very uncomfortable, but we laughed so much about it. The next day, we bought a cheap tent from a local shop, and the rest of the holiday was perfect. Now that story is one of our favorite memories to tell. Travel surprises and mistakes make the best stories. The most important thing is to stay positive and laugh about the unexpected things.
That story is so funny. Sleeping in the car? Oh no! But I love that it became a great memory. Mark, let's talk about summer festivals and events. Summer is full of fun events. There are music festivals, outdoor cinema, food festivals, sports events, and local fairs. I love going to local summer festivals. They are usually free or not expensive. There is music, food, dancing, and a great atmosphere. Last summer, I went to an outdoor jazz festival in my city. It was a beautiful, warm evening, the music was wonderful, and I sat on the grass with my friends. It felt like a perfect summer night. Do you enjoy going to festivals and events in summer? What kind of events do you like most?
Summer festivals are one of my favorite things. I love music festivals most of all. There's something amazing about listening to live music outside under the open sky. The energy of the crowd, the music, the warm air, it is a truly special experience. I also love food festivals. You can try so many different types of food in one place. It's a great way to discover new cuisines. I have tried foods from many different countries at food festivals. I also enjoy street markets in summer. Many cities have outdoor markets on weekends in summer. You can find fresh produce, handmade crafts, and delicious snacks. Summer really brings communities together in such a joyful way.
Outdoor markets are lovely. I always find something special at them. Mark, let's talk about gardening in summer. Do you like gardening? I think summer is the best time for gardens. Everything is green and in bloom, flowers, vegetables, fruit trees. Everything looks so beautiful. I have a small balcony garden. In summer, I grow tomatoes, herbs, and flowers on my balcony. I love watering my plants in the morning with a cup of coffee. It is so peaceful. And eating tomatoes from my own balcony is so satisfying. There is something special about growing your own food. It tastes better when you grow it yourself. Do you do any gardening in summer, or do you just enjoy other people's gardens?
I love gardens, but I am not very good at growing plants. I have tried a few times, and usually the plants do not survive very long. I think I forget to water them regularly. But I admire people who are good at gardening. My parents have a beautiful garden with roses, lavender, and vegetable beds. When I visit them in summer, I love sitting in their garden. The smell of flowers in a summer garden is just wonderful. I also love visiting botanical gardens and parks in summer. Seeing all the different flowers and plants in full bloom is so beautiful. Maybe one day I will learn to be a better gardener. For now, I will enjoy other people's gardens.
That is very honest, Mark. Gardens are beautiful to enjoy even if you do not grow plants yourself. Mark, let's talk about summer and learning English. Many people use summer as a time to study or improve their English. Maybe they travel to an English-speaking country, or they take a summer English course. I think summer is actually a great time to practice English because there are so many fun ways to do it. You can watch English movies, listen to English podcasts like this one, read easy books in English, or talk to tourists in English. What do you think is the best way to practice English in summer? Do you have any tips for our listeners?
What a great topic. Summer is a wonderful time to practice English in a relaxed way. I think the best tip is to make English fun, not like homework. Watch your favorite movies or TV shows in English with subtitles. Read simple books or short stories in English. Listen to English songs and try to understand the words. If you travel somewhere where English is spoken, try to speak with local people. Even just saying hello and thank you is great practice. You can also keep a simple summer diary in English. Write a few sentences each day about what you did. It does not need to be perfect. The important thing is to practice every day, even for just 10 or 15 minutes.
I love the diary idea. Writing in English every day is such good practice, and summer gives you so many things to write about. Mark, let's talk about something I find really interesting, how different countries celebrate summer. In some countries, summer means going to the beach every weekend. In other countries, it means mountain holidays. In Scandinavia, people celebrate midsummer with big outdoor parties. In some countries, summer is the rainy season, not hot and sunny. Not everyone experiences summer the same way. I think it is fascinating how the same season can be so different depending on where you live. Do you know about any interesting summer traditions from other countries that you find interesting or surprising?
That is such an interesting point. Summer really is different around the world. In Japan, there are beautiful summer festivals called matsuri with fireworks and traditional dances. People wear colorful, traditional clothing and celebrate outdoors. In Sweden, the Midsummer Festival is one of the most important celebrations of the year. People dance, sing, and eat traditional food around a decorated pole. In Brazil, summer is in December and January, which is very different for people from the Northern Hemisphere. In some tropical countries, summer brings monsoon rains, not sunshine. Learning about how different cultures experience and celebrate summer is a wonderful way to learn about the world. Every tradition is unique and fascinating.
The Japanese summer festivals with fireworks sound absolutely magical. I would love to experience that one day. Mark, let's talk about summer and sleep. I find it harder to sleep in summer. The nights are shorter and it stays light outside for a long time. My bedroom also gets very warm, and I do not sleep well when I'm hot. I use a fan at night, and I open the window to let in cool air. I also use light cotton sheets instead of heavy blankets, but still, some summer nights are very uncomfortable. Do you sleep well in summer? Do you have any tips for sleeping better when it is hot? I think many people have this problem in summer.
Oh, I definitely have this problem too. Sleeping in summer heat can be really difficult. My best tip is to close the curtains during the day to keep the room cool. This makes a big difference. Also, take a cool shower before bed. Not very cold, just refreshing. Your body temperature will go down and you will feel more comfortable. Wear light pajamas or sleep in just a light sheet. You can also put a cold, wet cloth on your forehead or wrists to cool down quickly. Drinking a glass of cold water before bed also helps. And yes, a fan is very useful. Point it towards the window to push hot air out and pull cooler air in. These tips really do work.
Those tips are so useful. I will try the curtains one. I think my room gets very hot because I leave the curtains open all day. Mark, let's talk about summer and exercise. I think many people exercise more in summer because the weather is nice. But exercising in the heat can also be dangerous. It is important to exercise at the right time of day. I like to go for my walks and runs in the early morning before it gets too hot. The air is fresh, the streets are quiet, and the temperature is comfortable. By midday, it is too hot to run outside. What kind of exercise do you do in summer, and when do you prefer to exercise during the summer months?
Early morning exercise is perfect in summer. I also prefer to exercise in the morning, usually around 7 or 8 o'clock. It is cool and pleasant then. I go for a run along the river near my home. It is beautiful in the morning. The light is soft and there are not many people around. I also swim a lot in summer. Swimming is one of the best summer exercises because it keeps you cool while you're working out. In the evenings, I sometimes go for a long walk or cycle ride when the temperature goes down again. I always bring water when I exercise outside in summer. Exercising in the heat without water is very dangerous. Safety is always the first priority.
Swimming really is the perfect summer exercise. Mark, I want to ask about something a little different now. What is your least favorite thing about summer? Every season has some downsides. For me, it is insects. In summer, there are mosquitoes, flies, and other bugs. I hate mosquitoes. They bite me every night, and I always wake up with itchy red spots. I use mosquito spray and a special plug-in device in my bedroom, but some still get through. It is very annoying. I also do not enjoy the crowds in summer. Popular beaches and tourist places get very crowded and noisy in summer. I prefer quieter, less busy places. What about you? What do you like least about summer?
Anna, mosquitoes are definitely my least favorite part of summer too. They're so annoying. I also use spray and try to cover my arms in the evenings when they are most active. My other least favorite thing about summer is the traffic and crowds. Highways and airports are so busy in summer. Everything is more expensive. Hotels, flights, restaurants, popular tourist spots are packed with people. Sometimes it's hard to relax and enjoy yourself when everywhere is so crowded. I also sometimes miss the coziness of autumn and winter. Hot drinks, warm blankets, and quiet evenings inside also have a special charm. But overall, the good things about summer definitely outweigh the bad things. Summer is still my favorite season.
I agree. The good things definitely outweigh the bad. Mosquitoes are a small price to pay for all the wonderful things summer brings. Mark, let's talk about summer sunsets. I think summer sunsets are some of the most beautiful things in nature. Because the days are so long in summer, the sunset happens late, sometimes at 9 or even 10 o'clock. I love watching the sunset in summer. The sky turns pink, orange, and purple. It is absolutely stunning. I often go to a high point in my city to watch the sunset. It feels very special. Have you ever watched a particularly beautiful summer sunset that you still remember? Where were you and what made it so special?
Summer sunsets are truly magical. I've seen some incredible ones. My most memorable was on a boat trip last summer. We were on the sea in the evening and the sun started to set. The whole sky turned bright orange and red, and the light reflected on the water. It was breathtaking. Everyone on the boat stopped talking and just watched. Nobody said anything for minutes. It was that beautiful. Another beautiful sunset I remember was watching the sun go down behind the mountains. The colors changed slowly from yellow to orange to deep purple. Nature is truly the best artist. I think stopping to watch a beautiful sunset is one of the simplest and most wonderful pleasures of summer.
That boat sunset sounds absolutely incredible. Mark, let's talk about summer reading. I think summer is the perfect time to read. You have more free time, you can sit outside, and a good book in the sunshine is such a pleasure. I love reading on holiday. I always pack at least 2 books for any trip. Last summer, I read a wonderful story about a family who travels across Europe by train. It was simple to read, but very engaging. I think reading in English is also a great way to improve your language skills. Do you read in summer? And do you have any book recommendations for beginners who want to read in English? Easy, enjoyable books are the best place to start.
I love reading in summer. I agree, it is the perfect season for books. For beginners who want to read in English, I recommend short stories and simple novels. Books by Roald Dahl are wonderful for beginners. The language is clear and the stories are very entertaining. The Diary of a Wimpy Kid series is also easy and very funny. For something more relaxing, try travel books or simple romance stories. Reading in a language you are learning might feel difficult at first, but start with very short texts. Even 1 page a day is great progress. Use a dictionary for new words and try to enjoy the story, not just translate every word. Reading should be enjoyable, not stressful.
Roald Dahl is a great recommendation. His stories are so imaginative and fun. Mark, let's talk about summer and friendship. I think summer is a time when friendships feel especially strong. You spend more time with people outside. You have shared experiences, holidays, barbecues, picnics, festivals. Those shared summer moments bring people closer together. Some of my strongest friendships are built on summer memories. I have a group of friends who I met on a summer language course many years ago. We are still very close today. Summer seems to create a special atmosphere where people connect more easily. Do you think summer is a good time for building friendships? Do you have any special summer friendships or memories with friends?
Absolutely. Summer is wonderful for friendships. When the weather is good, people naturally want to be outside and social. You meet neighbors, join community events, and talk to strangers more easily. I think the relaxed atmosphere of summer makes people more open and friendly. Some of my best friendships started in summer, at camps, on holidays, or at outdoor events. I also think summer is a great time to reconnect with old friends you do not see very often during the busy winter months. A simple phone call to invite someone for a walk or a barbecue can restart a friendship. Summer gives you natural reasons to reach out and spend time with people you care about. It's a social season.
So beautifully said, Mark. Summer really is a social season. It connects people in such a natural way. Mark, we are getting close to the end of our conversation today. I want to ask you one final big question before we wrap up. If you could design your perfect summer day from morning to night, what would it look like? Where would you be? Who would you be with? And what would you do? I think this is a fun and creative question. It also helps our listeners practice thinking and talking about daily activities in English. I will tell you my perfect summer day after you share yours. I already have it planned in my head, and I cannot wait to share it.
Oh, I love this question. My perfect summer day would start with an early morning run along the coast while the air is still cool and fresh. Then a big breakfast outside, fresh bread, fruit, eggs, and a good coffee. After breakfast, I would go to the beach with my closest friends. We would swim, play beach volleyball, and just relax in the sun. In the afternoon, we would find a nice shaded terrace and have a long, slow lunch with cold drinks. In the evening, we would watch the sunset from a boat on the sea. Then dinner outside at a local restaurant with good food and great conversation. Finally, we would sit around a fire on the beach and talk and laugh until late at night. That would be my perfect summer day.
What a wonderful conversation today, Mark. I feel so happy just talking about summer. We talked about so many great things: the weather, food, holidays, activities, travel, fitness, sleep, sunsets, reading, friendships, and so much more. I hope our listeners learned some new English words and phrases today, and I hope this conversation made you feel excited about summer, or maybe a little nostalgic if summer is not here yet. Remember, the best way to improve your English is to listen, speak, and enjoy the language. Thank you so much to everyone who listened today. Summer and English learning are both beautiful journeys. Enjoy both of them to the fullest.
Thank you, Anna. This was such a joyful conversation. And thank you to all our wonderful listeners for spending time with us today. Summer really is a special season, full of warmth, light, and happy memories. I hope our conversation gave you some ideas for things to do this summer and some useful English vocabulary to talk about summer with your friends. If you want to improve your English, use summer as your teacher. Go outside, experience new things, and try to describe them in English. Keep a summer journal, listen to English podcasts, and speak as much as you can. Learning English can be just as fun and warm as a beautiful summer day. Until next time, enjoy the sunshine, stay happy, and we will see you soon. Goodbye.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so happy you are here with us today. This podcast is made for beginner English learners, and every episode is simple, friendly, and very useful. Today, we have a really important and timely topic. We are going to talk about how to stay safe in hot weather. Hot weather can be wonderful, but it can also be dangerous if you are not careful. Knowing what to do and what not to do in extreme heat can protect your health and even save your life. I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Mark.
Hello, hello. Thank you, Anna. Hi to all our wonderful listeners. How do I feel about hot weather? I love warm, sunny days, but I have learned to respect extreme heat. Hot weather can become dangerous very quickly, and many people, including healthy young people, underestimate the risks. Today, Anna and I are going to cover everything you need to know about staying safe when temperatures are high: what to drink, what to wear, what to avoid, how to recognize heat-related illness, and so much more. We will also give you lots of useful English vocabulary and phrases. By the end of this episode, you will be well prepared for hot weather. Let's begin.
Let's start with some important hot weather vocabulary. A heat wave is a period of several days when temperatures are much higher than normal. The temperature is how hot or cold something is, measured in degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit. The UV index tells you how strong the sun's radiation is. A higher number means more risk of sunburn. Humidity is the amount of moisture in the air. High humidity makes hot weather feel even hotter and more uncomfortable. It is sweltering means it is extremely hot. It is scorching also means very hot. The sun is beating down means the sun is very strong and direct.
More important hot weather vocabulary. Sunburn is when the sun's UV rays damage your skin, making it red and painful. Dehydration is when your body does not have enough water. Sunscreen or sun cream is a lotion you apply to your skin to protect it from UV rays. SPF, sun protection factor, tells you how strong the sunscreen is. SPF 50 gives much more protection than SPF 15. Shade means an area not in direct sunlight, protected by trees, buildings, or umbrellas. Ventilation means the flow of fresh air into a building or space, important to keep rooms cool. A fan is a device that moves air to create a cooling breeze.
Now let's talk about the most important hot weather safety rule. Stay hydrated. Hydration means having enough water in your body. When it is hot, your body sweats to cool itself down. Sweating means you lose water rapidly. If you do not replace that water by drinking enough fluids, you become dehydrated. Dehydration causes headaches, dizziness, tiredness, and confusion, and in serious cases, it can be life-threatening. Health experts recommend drinking at least 2 liters of water per day in normal conditions, but during a heat wave, you may need 3 liters or more. In English, useful hydration phrases: drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, keep your fluid levels up. Have you had enough water today? Mark, what are...
Water is the absolute best drink for hydration. Plain, still water. It is free, contains no sugar, and is exactly what your body needs. In very hot weather, you also lose important minerals called electrolytes through sweat, especially sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Sports drinks or electrolyte drinks can help replace these. Coconut water is a natural and delicious source of electrolytes. Diluted fruit juice is also good. Cold herbal teas can be very refreshing. What should you avoid? Alcohol is a diuretic. It actually makes you urinate more and can worsen dehydration. Caffeine in large amounts can also contribute to dehydration. And sugary sodas or fizzy drinks do not hydrate as effectively as water.
Keep a bottle with you at all times. Such simple but vital advice. Now let's talk about sunscreen, because protecting your skin from the sun is one of the most important things you can do in hot weather. Sunscreen protects your skin from UV rays, the invisible radiation from the sun that can cause sunburn, premature aging, and skin cancer with repeated exposure. UV rays are present even on cloudy days, which many people do not realize. Always use sunscreen with at least SPF 30. Ideally SPF 50, especially on your face, neck, and any exposed skin. Apply it at least 15 to 20 minutes before going outside.
Great topic. People forget many things about sunscreen. First, the back of your neck and ears are very commonly missed and can burn badly. Do not forget them. Second, lips need protection too. Use a lip balm with SPF. Third, even water-resistant sunscreen needs to be reapplied after swimming because no sunscreen is truly waterproof. Fourth, check the expiry date on your sunscreen. Expired sunscreen does not work as effectively. Fifth, do not rely on sunscreen alone. It is one layer of protection, not total protection. Combine it with protective clothing, shade, and avoiding the strongest sun. Sixth, if you have young children, their skin is especially sensitive and burns faster than adult skin.
Such important reminders about sunscreen. Now, let's talk about what to wear in hot weather, because the right clothing makes a significant difference to how your body manages heat. In very hot weather, wear loose-fitting, lightweight clothing that allows air to circulate around your body. Tight clothing traps heat. Choose light-colored clothes, white, pale yellow, light blue, rather than dark colors. Dark colors absorb more heat from the sun, while light colors reflect it. Natural fabrics like cotton and linen are much better than synthetic fabrics in heat. They breathe better and feel more comfortable. A wide-brimmed hat is very important for protecting your head, face, and neck from direct sunlight.
People make several common clothing mistakes in hot weather. First, wearing dark, tight, or heavy synthetic clothing. This traps heat and makes you feel much hotter than necessary. Second, not wearing a hat. The top of your head gets very hot in direct sunshine, which raises your overall body temperature quickly. Third, not wearing sunglasses. UV rays can damage your eyes over time, causing serious conditions, including cataracts. Look for sunglasses that block 100% of UV rays. Fourth, wearing too little clothing thinking it will be cooler. Sometimes a loose, long-sleeved light cotton shirt actually keeps you cooler than no shirt at all, because it protects you from direct sun while still allowing air to circulate.
A loose, long-sleeved shirt can be cooler than no shirt at all. That is such a surprising but true fact. Now let's talk about timing, when to be outside and when to stay inside. The sun is at its strongest and most dangerous between roughly 11 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. This is called peak sun hours, or the hottest part of the day. During this time, UV rays are at their most intense. The temperature is usually at its highest, and the risk of sunburn, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke is greatest. Health experts recommend avoiding outdoor activity during these hours on very hot days.
Adjusting my schedule during a heat wave is essential. I try to do any outdoor activity, exercising, shopping, gardening, before 10 in the morning or after 5 in the evening when the sun is lower and less intense. During the hottest middle part of the day, I stay inside in a cool, ventilated space. Many cultures in hot countries have traditionally practiced a midday rest, called a siesta in Spanish-speaking cultures, and this wisdom makes complete sense from a health perspective. If you need to go outside during peak hours, use as much protection as possible. Hat, sunglasses, light clothing, sunscreen, and carry cold water.
The siesta tradition makes complete scientific sense. Now let's talk about keeping your home cool during hot weather, because a hot home is genuinely dangerous, especially for older people and young children. Some key strategies for cooling your home. First, close curtains, blinds, and shutters during the day. This blocks the sun's heat from entering through windows. Surprisingly, keeping windows closed during the hottest part of the day, when outside air is hotter than inside, also helps keep cool air in. Then, in the evening, when outside temperatures drop, open windows to allow the cooler night air in. This is called cross-ventilation. Mark, what other strategies help keep a home cool during a heat wave?
More great home cooling strategies. Use electric fans strategically. Placing a fan near a window at night draws cooler air in. A bowl of ice in front of a fan creates a very effective and cheap air cooling effect. Avoid using your oven or hob. Cooking creates heat inside your home. Eat cold meals or cook very briefly when temperatures are lower. Turn off unnecessary electrical appliances and lights. These generate heat even when on standby. On very hot days, wet a cloth with cold water and place it on your neck, wrists, or forehead. These are pulse points where blood vessels are close to the skin, and cooling them quickly lowers your body temperature.
Ice in front of a fan, such a clever and inexpensive solution. Now let's talk about heat exhaustion, because this is a real medical condition that many people experience during hot weather. Heat exhaustion happens when your body overheats, usually from being in the sun too long or doing too much physical activity in hot conditions. Symptoms, signs that you have heat exhaustion, include heavy sweating, pale or cool skin, feeling very tired or weak, dizziness or feeling faint, nausea, feeling like you want to vomit, headache, and muscle cramps, painful tightness in your muscles. If you or someone near you experiences these symptoms, it is important to act quickly.
If someone shows signs of heat exhaustion, act immediately. First, move them to a cool place, indoors with air conditioning or at least into the shade. Second, help them lie down and raise their legs slightly. This helps blood flow back to the brain and reduces the risk of fainting. Third, remove any unnecessary clothing to help their body cool down. Fourth, give them cool water to drink slowly if they are conscious and able to swallow. Fifth, cool their skin by spraying or sponging with cool, not ice-cold, water and fan them. Sixth, apply cold, wet cloths to their forehead, neck, and wrists.
Act immediately and call emergency services if needed. Absolutely essential advice. Now let's talk about heat stroke, which is much more serious than heat exhaustion and is a genuine medical emergency. Heat stroke happens when the body temperature rises to a very dangerous level, above 40 degrees Celsius, and the body can no longer cool itself down. Without immediate treatment, heat stroke can cause permanent damage to the brain, kidneys, and other organs, and can be fatal, which means it can cause death. Signs of heat stroke include very high body temperature, confusion or strange behavior, not sweating despite the heat, red and hot skin, rapid heartbeat, and loss of consciousness.
Heat stroke is a life-threatening emergency. Call the emergency number immediately and do not wait. While waiting for help to arrive, here is what to do. Move the person to the coolest available place, indoors or shade. Remove outer clothing. Cool them as rapidly as possible. Apply ice packs to their neck, armpits, and groin area where large blood vessels are close to the surface. If ice packs are not available, wrap them in wet sheets and fan them. Do not give them water to drink if they are confused or unconscious. They could choke. Put them in the recovery position if they are unconscious but breathing on their side to prevent choking.
Never leave someone alone who you suspect has heat stroke. So important. Now let's talk about groups of people who need extra care in hot weather, because some people are at much higher risk than others. Elderly people are at higher risk because the body's ability to regulate temperature naturally decreases with age. Babies and very young children are at high risk because their bodies heat up much faster than adults, and they cannot tell you they are too hot. Pregnant women have higher body temperatures and need extra care. People with chronic health conditions, such as heart disease, diabetes, or respiratory problems, are more vulnerable.
Elderly people are especially vulnerable during heat waves for several important reasons. First, their sense of thirst decreases with age, so they do not feel thirsty even when they are becoming dehydrated. Second, their skin becomes less efficient at sweating, which reduces the body's natural cooling ability. Third, many elderly people take multiple medications, some of which can increase heat sensitivity or affect sweating. Fourth, older people often live alone and may not have family or friends checking on them regularly during a heat wave. This isolation increases the risk significantly. During heat waves, it is really important to check on elderly relatives, neighbors, and friends. Visit them, call them, or have someone keep an eye on them.
Community care saves lives during extreme heat. Such a powerful and true statement. Now let's talk about hot weather and cars, because cars can become extremely dangerous very quickly in sunshine. On a warm day, even a day that does not feel very hot, the temperature inside a parked car can rise to 60 or 70 degrees Celsius within just a few minutes. This is because glass windows trap heat, creating a greenhouse effect. This is potentially fatal for children or pets left inside. Never leave children or pets alone in a parked car in warm weather, even for just a few minutes.
Hot car safety is so important. A few more things about driving in hot weather. Before driving, check that your car has enough coolant, the liquid that prevents the engine from overheating, and water in the radiator. Overheating engines are very common during heat waves. If your engine overheats while driving, indicated by the temperature gauge rising, pull over safely. Turn off the engine and wait for it to cool before opening the bonnet. Never open the bonnet of an overheating car immediately. The pressure can cause serious burns. Carry a bottle of water in your car for both yourself and the vehicle. Wear sunglasses while driving to reduce glare and eye strain.
Such important car safety information. Now let's talk about swimming and water safety in hot weather, because hot days send many people to swimming pools, lakes, rivers, and the sea. Water activities are a wonderful way to cool down, but they also carry risks that increase in hot weather. First, always swim in supervised areas where there is a lifeguard if possible. Second, never swim alone. Third, check conditions before swimming in open water. Currents, tides, and water depth can be very different from what they appear. Fourth, children must be supervised very closely near water at all times. Drowning can happen very quickly and silently.
Water safety in hot weather is so important to talk about. Here are more key points. Know your own swimming ability and stay within your limits. Open water swimming is very different from pool swimming. The cold water in some lakes and rivers can cause cold water shock, even on a hot day, which can cause sudden difficulty breathing and loss of muscle control. Always enter open water slowly rather than jumping in. Wear appropriate water shoes on rocks or uneven surfaces to prevent injury. If you get into difficulty in the water, stay calm and try to float on your back. Use your energy wisely rather than panicking.
Float on your back if you get into difficulty. I want everyone to remember that. Now let's talk about how to help your pets and animals stay safe in hot weather, because animals feel the heat too and can suffer from heat stroke just like humans. Dogs especially struggle in heat. Never leave a pet in a parked car. Make sure pets always have access to fresh, cool water. On very hot days, limit your dog's walks to early morning or late evening when it is cooler. Hot pavements can burn a dog's paws. If you cannot hold your hand on the pavement for 5 seconds comfortably, it is too hot for your dog to walk on.
Pet heat stroke is a genuine emergency. If your pet is showing signs of overheating, act very quickly. Move them immediately to a cool, shaded area. Wet their coat with cool, not ice-cold water. Place cool, damp towels on their neck, armpits, and between their hind legs. Allow them to drink small amounts of cool water if they are conscious and able to swallow. Do not cover them with wet towels. This can trap heat. And take them to a veterinarian, a vet, as quickly as possible, even if they seem to be recovering. Heat stroke in animals can cause internal organ damage that is not immediately visible.
Our animals depend on us for their safety. Such an important responsibility. Now let's do a quiz for our listeners. I will describe a situation, and Mark will say whether the person is being safe or not and explain why. Ready? Situation 1. Sarah is outside gardening at 2 in the afternoon on a very hot and sunny day. She is wearing a black t-shirt and dark jeans. She has not applied sunscreen. She has a small glass of water next to her and has been outside for 3 hours. Listeners, think about all the hot weather safety rules we have discussed today. Is Sarah being safe in this situation?
Sarah is definitely not being safe. Let me count the problems. First, gardening at 2 in the afternoon is exactly during peak sun hours, the most dangerous time. She should be inside or in the shade. Second, wearing a black t-shirt and dark jeans is the worst possible clothing choice in hot sun. Dark colors absorb heat and will make her feel much hotter. Third, no sunscreen. She is exposing her skin to strong UV radiation and will likely get sunburned. Fourth, a small glass of water after 3 hours outdoors is nowhere near enough hydration. She is almost certainly becoming dehydrated.
Perfect assessment of Sarah's situation. Now, situation 2. Michael is going on a summer picnic at 10 in the morning. He puts on SPF 50 sunscreen. He wears a light blue loose linen shirt and a wide-brimmed hat. He carries a 2-liter bottle of water and an electrolyte drink. He plans to sit under a large tree and return home by noon before the hottest part of the day. He has prepared cold food, so he does not need to cook. Listeners, is Michael being safe? Mark, what do you think? Is there anything Michael is doing very well or anything he could improve?
Michael is doing almost everything right. He's an excellent hot weather safety example. Let me go through his good choices. SPF 50 sunscreen, excellent protection. Light blue loose linen shirt, perfect color and fabric choice for reflecting heat. Wide-brimmed hat, essential sun protection for head, face, and neck. 2 liters of water plus electrolyte drink, excellent hydration planning. Sitting under a tree, natural shade is wonderful. Leaving by noon, sensibly avoiding the hottest peak sun hours. Cold food prepared in advance avoids cooking heat inside his home and the picnic location. The only thing I would suggest Michael adds is sunglasses to protect his eyes from UV rays.
Michael is my hot weather hero. Now, let's talk about food safety in hot weather, because food can spoil much faster in heat and cause food poisoning. Food poisoning occurs when bacteria in food multiply rapidly in warm temperatures. Some important food safety rules for hot weather. Never leave perishable food, food that spoils easily like meat, fish, dairy, and eggs, at room temperature for more than 2 hours. In very hot weather, this reduces to 1 hour. Keep cold food in a refrigerator or cool box with ice packs. When transporting food for a picnic or barbecue, keep it in a cool bag. Thoroughly cook meat, especially chicken, to kill any bacteria.
Food poisoning is unfortunately very common in summer. Signs typically appear between 30 minutes and 48 hours after eating contaminated food. Symptoms include nausea, vomiting, stomach cramps, diarrhea, and sometimes fever. For mild food poisoning, rest, drink plenty of fluids to prevent dehydration from vomiting and diarrhea, and avoid solid food until you feel better. Seek medical attention if you have severe vomiting that prevents you from keeping fluids down, very high fever, blood in your vomit or diarrhea, or if symptoms last more than 2 days. Elderly people, young children, and people with weakened immune systems are at risk of serious complications and should see a doctor sooner.
When in doubt, throw it out. Such a memorable and important rule for food safety. Now let's talk about exercising safely in hot weather, because many people continue their usual exercise routines during heat waves without adapting them, which can be very dangerous. Here are the key rules for exercising in hot weather. First, exercise in the early morning or late evening, not during peak sun hours. Second, reduce your intensity. Exercise more gently than usual in heat. Third, drink water before, during, and after exercise. Fourth, wear light, breathable clothing. Fifth, choose shaded routes when running or cycling outdoors.
Excellent exercise safety points. A few more important additions. Acclimatization is the process of getting gradually used to hot conditions. If you are not used to exercising in heat, start with very short, easy sessions and build up over 1 to 2 weeks. Your body needs time to adapt its cooling mechanisms. Monitor your urine color. Pale yellow means you are well hydrated. Dark yellow or orange means you need to drink more water urgently. Athletes call this the urine color test, and it is genuinely useful. If you normally run 5 kilometers, consider walking it instead during extreme heat.
The urine color test. So practical and so easy to use. Now let's give our listeners a complete hot weather safety checklist, a list of all the most important things to remember. Before going outside in hot weather, apply SPF 30 or higher sunscreen. Wear a wide-brimmed hat and sunglasses. Put on light-colored, loose, breathable clothing. Fill a large water bottle and carry it with you. Check the weather forecast and UV indexed. Plan to be outside during cooler hours, morning or late afternoon. Tell someone where you are going if you will be alone, and prepare for emergencies. Know the signs of heat exhaustion and heat stroke.
Continuing the checklist. While you are outside, drink water regularly before you feel thirsty. Stay in shade whenever possible. Avoid intense physical activity during peak sun hours. Reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Check on anyone you with, especially children, elderly people, and pets. Take regular cool-down breaks indoors or in shade. Watch yourself and others for signs of heat illness. At home, keep curtains and blinds closed during the day. Open windows at night for ventilation. Use cool, wet cloths to lower body temperature. Avoid using the oven during the hottest part of the day. Keep cold water and cool drinks available at all times. Check on elderly or vulnerable neighbors.
What a comprehensive and practical checklist. Now let's give our listeners some key English phrases they can use to talk about hot weather safely. It is dangerously hot today. Stay hydrated. The UV index is very high. Wear SPF 50 and a hat. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. Stay in the shade between 11 and 3. I feel dizzy. I need some water and shade. She looks unwell. Let's move her to somewhere cool. Never leave children or pets in a hot car. The forecast says it will be over 40 degrees. Be careful. I am checking on my elderly neighbor during this heat wave. When in doubt about your health in hot,
A few final and important tips. First, never underestimate heat. It is one of the world's deadliest weather phenomena, more dangerous than most people realize. Second, plan ahead. Buy sunscreen, prepare cool drinks, and check the forecast before a hot day. Third, look out for each other. The most vulnerable people in your community may need your help during extreme heat. Fourth, trust your body. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Act early before symptoms become serious. Fifth, download your local emergency number so it is ready in case of a heat emergency. And sixth, cool down before you sleep. A comfortable bedroom temperature significantly improves your health during a heat wave.
what a wonderfully important and comprehensive episode this has been. I feel very prepared for hot weather after today. Let me give a final summary of everything we covered. We talked about key hot weather vocabulary: heat wave, dehydration, UV index, heat stroke. We discussed staying hydrated with water and electrolyte drinks. We covered sunscreen use, protective clothing, and timing your outdoor activities. We learned how to keep your home cool during a heat wave. We explored heat exhaustion and heat stroke, how to recognize and respond to them. We talked about vulnerable groups, car safety, water safety, pet safety, food safety, and exercise safety. We did a quiz about Sarah and Michael.
Thank you so much, Anna. This was such a vitally important episode. And a huge thank you to every listener who joined us today. Hot weather is one of those topics where a little knowledge really can save a life. Yours, a family member's, or a neighbor's. Share what you learned today with people around you, especially if you know elderly people, people with young children, or anyone who might need extra support during extreme heat. Use today's English vocabulary in real conversations about weather and safety. Ask friends, are you staying hydrated? Do you have enough sunscreen? How are you keeping cool? These small conversations matter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so happy you are here with us today. This podcast is made for beginner English learners, and every episode is simple, friendly, and useful. Today, we have a very special and meaningful topic. We are going to talk about freedom. Freedom is one of the most important words in the English language. People talk about freedom every day, in politics, in daily life, in relationships, and in their personal goals and dreams. I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Mark. Mark, say hello and tell us, what does the word freedom mean to you?
Hello, hello. Thank you, Anna. Hi to all our wonderful listeners. The word freedom means a great deal to me. At its most basic level, freedom means the ability to make your own choices without being controlled or stopped by others. But freedom is also much bigger than that. It is about opportunity, dignity, and the right to live your life in a way that feels true to who you are. Today, Anna and I are going to explore freedom from many different angles: personal freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and much more. We will also share lots of useful English vocabulary and phrases. Let's begin this important and inspiring conversation.
Let's start with the basics. What does freedom actually mean? Freedom means the state of being free, being able to act, speak, or think without restriction. The adjective form is free. For example, she feels free to speak her mind. He is free to go wherever he wants. The opposite of freedom is restriction, control, or oppression. A person without freedom is controlled, limited, or imprisoned. In English, there are many related words. Liberty, which means almost the same as freedom, often used in formal or political contexts. Rights, the things you are legally allowed to do. Equality, when everyone has the same rights and opportunities.
Great question. There are many important types of freedom that people talk about in everyday life and in society. Freedom of speech, the right to say what you think without punishment. Freedom of movement, the ability to travel and live where you choose. Freedom of religion, the right to practice any religion or no religion at all. Freedom of the press, the right of journalists to report the news without government control. Personal freedom, the right to live your private life as you choose. Economic freedom, the ability to work, earn money, and spend it as you wish.
Those are all such important types of freedom. Now let's talk about personal freedom in everyday life, because this is something everyone experiences directly. Personal freedom means making your own choices about how to live. For example, choosing what career to pursue, choosing who to love and spend your life with, choosing what to eat, wear, and believe, choosing how to spend your free time. When we have personal freedom, we feel in control of our own lives. When we lose it, even in small ways, we feel frustrated or unhappy. In English, we use phrases like, "I want to make my own decisions. I do not want anyone to tell me what to do. I feel."
That is a really interesting question. I feel very fortunate to have a great degree of personal freedom in my daily life. I can choose my work, my friends, my home, and how I spend my time. I can speak my opinions openly and practice whatever beliefs I hold. But I also recognize that true freedom requires responsibility. Freedom does not mean doing whatever you want without thinking about others. As the saying goes, your freedom ends where another person's freedom begins. This means that we must exercise our own freedom in a way that respects the rights and well-being of others.
Your freedom ends where another person's freedom begins. What a powerful and wise saying. Now let's talk about freedom of speech, because this is one of the most discussed and debated freedoms in the modern world. Freedom of speech means you have the right to express your opinions, ideas, and beliefs in conversation, in writing, in art, and in public. In democratic countries, freedom of speech is protected by law. However, even in countries with this protection, there are limits. For example, you cannot use speech to incite violence or spread dangerous lies that harm others. In English, useful phrases related to speech and expression: "I have the right to say what I think. Everyone is free."
Freedom of speech is essential for so many reasons. First, it allows people to criticize their government and powerful institutions without fear. This is the foundation of a healthy democracy. Leaders who cannot be criticized tend to become corrupt and dangerous. Second, freedom of speech allows new ideas to be shared and debated. Science, art, and social progress all depend on the free exchange of ideas. Third, it allows individuals to tell their stories and have their experiences heard. When people cannot speak freely, injustice can be hidden. The phrase, "sunlight is the best disinfectant," is a famous saying meaning that transparency, bringing things into the open, helps society stay clean and fair.
Sunlight is the best disinfectant. What a vivid and memorable phrase. Now, let's talk about freedom of movement, because this is something many people take for granted. Freedom of movement means the ability to travel freely within your own country and, in some cases, to other countries. In the European Union, for example, citizens of member countries can live and work in any other member country without needing special permission. This is a remarkable freedom that millions of people benefit from. However, not everyone in the world has this freedom. People in some countries face restrictions on where they can travel.
I think about this topic quite deeply. I am very fortunate to hold a passport that allows me to travel to many countries with little difficulty, but I am aware that this is not the case for everyone in the world. Passport privilege is a real thing. The passport you hold largely determines how freely you can move around the world. Citizens of some countries can visit over 180 countries without a visa. Citizens of other countries can only visit a handful of places freely. This inequality is something many people do not think about. When I travel, I try to remember that the ease of my movement is a privilege, not something everyone shares.
Passport privilege is such a thought-provoking term. Now, let's talk about freedom and responsibility, because these two ideas are always connected. Having freedom means you also have responsibility for your choices and for how they affect others. This is true in everyday life and in society as a whole. For example, the freedom to drive a car comes with the responsibility to follow traffic laws and drive safely. The freedom to own a business comes with the responsibility to treat your workers fairly. The freedom to speak publicly comes with the responsibility to be truthful and respectful. In English, a popular phrase is, "With great power comes great responsibility." Mark, can you give more examples of how freedom—
Freedom and responsibility are truly inseparable. Here are more everyday examples. The freedom to use social media comes with the responsibility not to spread false information or bully others online. The freedom to have children comes with the enormous responsibility of caring for and raising them well. The freedom to live in a democratic country comes with the responsibility to participate by voting, staying informed, and being an active citizen. The freedom to eat whatever you choose comes with the responsibility to consider the impact on your health and on the environment. And the freedom to have a voice comes with the responsibility to listen as well as speak.
Responsibility transforms freedom from selfishness into wisdom. Beautifully said. Now, let's talk about financial freedom, because this is something many people dream about. Financial freedom means having enough money saved and invested that you do not need to work just to pay your basic bills. It means you have choices about how to spend your time, rather than being forced to work long hours in a job you dislike. Some people achieve financial freedom through saving carefully, investing wisely, and spending less than they earn over many years. Others build businesses that eventually provide passive income, money that comes in without requiring constant active work.
Financial freedom is something I think about a lot. To me, it does not necessarily mean being extremely wealthy. It means having enough to cover your needs comfortably, enough savings to handle unexpected problems, and enough flexibility to make choices based on what you value rather than just financial necessity. I do believe it is achievable for many people through consistent saving habits, living within your means, and making smart decisions about money over time. However, I also recognize that structural inequalities in society make financial freedom much harder for some people than others. Wages, access to education, healthcare costs, and economic opportunity are not equally distributed.
Living within your means is such a key phrase for financial freedom. Now, let's talk about freedom and relationships, because the way freedom operates within personal relationships is very interesting. In a healthy relationship, whether a friendship, a romantic relationship, or a family relationship, both people should feel free to be themselves. They should be able to express their thoughts and feelings honestly, pursue their own interests and friendships outside the relationship, and make personal decisions without constant control or judgment. When one person in a relationship controls or restricts the other too much, it becomes unhealthy. In English, we use phrases like, "I feel free to be myself with you." A good relationship gives you space.
Healthy freedom in a relationship is so important. I think it means mutual trust and respect, trusting your partner enough to give them space and respecting their individuality and independence. It means supporting each other's separate friendships, hobbies, and personal goals. It means being able to disagree, express different opinions, and even spend time apart without feeling threatened or jealous. The phrase "love sets you free" suggests that real love does not trap or restrict, it liberates. A partner who loves you genuinely wants you to grow, explore, and be your full self. Controlling behavior, checking someone's phone, limiting their friendships, or making all decisions for them is the opposite of love.
Real love and real freedom go hand in hand. What a beautiful and true statement. Now let's talk about freedom and creativity. When we have the freedom to create, to write, paint, sing, dance, build, or imagine, we express our most genuine and unique selves. Creative freedom means making art or ideas without being told exactly what to think or produce. History shows us that some of the greatest works of art and literature were created in conditions of restriction, people finding creative freedom even in difficult circumstances. In English, we often say someone has creative freedom when they are given space to make their own artistic decisions.
Creativity and freedom are deeply connected, though creativity is remarkably resilient. It finds expression even in the most restrictive conditions. Many great artists, writers, and musicians have created extraordinary work under censorship, poverty, or oppression. They found ways to communicate truth through metaphor, symbol, and hidden meaning. However, I believe creativity truly flourishes when people have genuine freedom. Freedom to explore ideas without fear, freedom to challenge conventions, freedom to fail and try again. When people feel free, they take creative risks, and creative risk-taking leads to real innovation and beauty. The phrase, "necessity is the mother of invention," suggests that even restriction can drive creativity, but I believe freedom is still the best environment for it.
Freedom is the best environment for the human creative spirit to bloom. I love that image. Now let's talk about freedom and nature. Many people feel a profound sense of freedom when they are in nature, in the mountains, by the sea, in a forest, or in a wide open field. Being in nature removes the restrictions of daily life. No screens, no schedules, no demands. You can move freely, breathe fresh air, and feel connected to something larger than yourself. In English, we have beautiful phrases about this feeling. Feeling free as a bird, the open road, the great outdoors, and breathing room, meaning space to relax and think freely.
I feel enormously free in nature. There is something almost magical about being in a wide-open natural landscape. When I hike in the mountains, I feel the weight of everyday worries literally lift from my shoulders. The scale of the landscape, the vast sky, the distant horizon, the silence puts everything in perspective. Small problems seem less important. Big questions feel more approachable. The phrase, "to get some headspace," means to gain mental clarity and perspective, and nature does this beautifully. I think many people in modern, busy urban lives are deeply hungry for this kind of freedom, the simple freedom of open space, fresh air, and quiet.
To get some headspace, such a useful and evocative phrase. Now let me ask you something a little different. Is absolute freedom, total freedom with no rules or limits at all, actually desirable? This is a very interesting philosophical question. If there were absolutely no rules, no laws, and no limits on what anyone could do, would people be more free, or would life become dangerous and chaotic? Many philosophers have thought about this question. Thomas Hobbes, a famous English philosopher, argued that without rules, life would be nasty, brutish, and short. Others argue that freedom requires some structure to protect everyone's rights. Mark, what do you think? Is total, unlimited freedom actually a good thing?
This is a fascinating question. I do not think total, unlimited freedom is truly desirable or even possible in a society. Here's why. If one person has total freedom to do absolutely anything, then other people lose their freedom because they become victims of that person's unchecked actions. True freedom for everyone requires a social agreement, rules and laws that protect each person's rights and prevent one person from violating another's. This is the idea behind the social contract in political philosophy. We give up some absolute freedoms, like the freedom to harm others without consequence, in exchange for living safely and cooperatively in society.
Structured freedom is the most meaningful kind. What a clear and wise conclusion. Now let's talk about freedom and education. Education is one of the most powerful tools for creating genuine freedom. When you have knowledge, when you can read, think critically, understand the world, and communicate effectively, you have more choices in life. You are less likely to be manipulated or deceived. You are better equipped to participate in society and advocate for yourself and others. In English, the phrase "knowledge is power" directly connects learning to freedom and empowerment. Nelson Mandela, one of the world's most famous advocates for freedom, said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world."
Education creates freedom in so many ways. First, it opens economic doors. People with education generally have more career options, higher earning potential, and greater financial security. Second, it develops critical thinking, the ability to analyze information, question assumptions, and form your own opinions rather than simply accepting what others tell you. This is essential for personal and political freedom. Third, it builds communication skills. Being able to speak and write clearly and persuasively gives you a powerful voice in the world. Fourth, it expands your understanding of different cultures, perspectives, and possibilities, broadening your sense of what's possible for your own life.
Education truly is liberation. I love that. And for our listeners learning English, this podcast is part of your educational freedom journey. Now let's talk about freedom and technology. In many ways, technology has given people extraordinary new freedoms. The internet allows free access to information from anywhere in the world. Social media gives ordinary people a global voice. Remote work allows people to work from any location. Online learning removes geographical barriers to education. Translation technology breaks down language barriers. These are remarkable freedoms that did not exist for most of human history. However, technology also brings new restrictions and risks. Mark, do you think technology makes us more free or less free overall?
Technology is a genuinely double-edged sword when it comes to freedom. On the positive side, the internet has democratized information, giving billions of people access to knowledge that was previously only available to the privileged few. It has given voices to marginalized communities. It has connected people across borders and cultures. On the negative side, technology can reduce freedom in serious ways. Governments can use technology for surveillance, tracking citizens' movements and communications. Social media algorithms can create information bubbles, limiting the range of ideas people are exposed to. And constant connectivity can create a sense of never being truly free from work, news, or social obligations.
Technology amplifies both freedom and restriction. Such an insightful and balanced observation. Now, let's talk about some important people in history who fought for freedom. The world has been shaped by remarkable individuals who sacrificed enormously to expand freedom for others. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison fighting against apartheid, the system of racial separation and inequality in South Africa. He became a global symbol of courage and the struggle for equality. Mahatma Gandhi led India's peaceful independence movement against British colonial rule. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus in Alabama in 1955, becoming a symbol of the American civil rights movement.
So many incredible people have fought for freedom throughout history. Harriet Tubman escaped slavery in the United States and then led many others to freedom through a secret network of safe houses called the Underground Railroad, one of the most courageous acts of resistance in American history. Malala Yousafzai, still young today, has fought for girls' right to education in Pakistan and around the world, surviving a serious attack for speaking out. Aung San Suu Kyi spent many years under house arrest in Myanmar for advocating democracy. Frederick Douglass escaped slavery and became one of the most powerful voices against it through his writing and speeches.
What an inspiring list of extraordinary people. Freedom is not given, it must often be fought for. That sentence gives me goosebumps. Now let's talk about a very simple but meaningful question. What does freedom feel like in everyday life? Not the big political or philosophical kind, but the small, daily feeling of being free. The feeling when you finish work on a Friday evening and have a whole weekend ahead. The feeling when you finish an exam or a difficult project. The feeling when you step outside on a beautiful morning with nowhere specific to be. The feeling of being completely understood by a good friend.
Oh, I love this question. The everyday moments of freedom are some of the most precious. My favorites, the feeling of finishing a challenging piece of work and closing my laptop, knowing the task is done and I am free. The moment I step off a plane in a new country and feel the air of a different place, pure freedom of possibility. Sunday morning with no schedule, drinking coffee slowly, reading a book with nowhere to be. A long walk with no destination, just walking where curiosity leads me. And the wonderful feeling of laughing deeply with close friends. Being so comfortable and accepted that you can be completely yourself.
Being fully yourself with no pretense. That is such a profound definition of freedom. Now, let's talk about inner freedom, freedom of the mind and spirit. This is perhaps the deepest kind of freedom. You can be physically restricted in a difficult job, in a difficult place, in a difficult situation, and still have inner freedom. Inner freedom is the freedom to choose how you think, what you value, and how you respond to your circumstances. Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist who survived Nazi concentration camps, wrote about this beautifully in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. He said that even in the most terrible circumstances, the last human freedom is the freedom to choose.
Viktor Frankl's idea of inner freedom is one of the most powerful and moving concepts I have ever encountered. He demonstrated that even in conditions of extreme suffering and total physical restriction, a person can maintain their dignity and their inner life. They can choose to find meaning, to maintain hope, to act with love and courage. This is an extraordinary and inspiring insight. Stoic philosophy, an ancient Greek and Roman tradition, also emphasizes inner freedom. The Stoics taught that we cannot always control external events, but we can always control our response to them. The phrase respond, do not react captures this idea.
Respond, do not react. Such a powerful phrase for daily life. Now let's give our listeners some useful English expressions and idioms related to freedom. Free as a bird, completely free with no restrictions. Break free, to escape from something that was holding you back. Set someone free, to release someone from restriction. Give someone free rein, to allow them to do whatever they choose. Footloose and fancy-free, having no responsibilities or commitments, completely free. The world is your oyster. You have complete freedom and many opportunities in front of you. Cut loose, to become free from something, often to relax and have fun.
More wonderful freedom expressions. Born free, a famous phrase from a song and film about a wild lion, meaning freedom is a natural state. Fly the nest, when young adults leave home and become independent for the first time. Spread your wings, to explore new opportunities and become more independent. No strings attached, complete freedom with no hidden conditions or obligations. The open road, a symbol of freedom and adventure, often used when talking about travel or new beginnings. Think outside the box, to be free in your thinking, not limited by conventional ideas.
March to the beat of your own drum is one of my all-time favorite English expressions. It beautifully captures the idea of living authentically and independently. Now let's talk about the relationship between freedom and happiness. Research in psychology suggests that having choices, having freedom, does make people happier, to a point. But too many choices can actually cause anxiety and dissatisfaction. This is called the paradox of choice. Psychologist Barry Schwartz found that when people have too many options, they often feel less satisfied with their final choice because they wonder if a different choice would have been better. So freedom and happiness are connected, but the relationship is more complex than it first appears.
The paradox of choice is a fascinating idea. I think freedom is essential for happiness, but you are right that unlimited choices do not automatically mean more happiness. The research suggests that a moderate amount of meaningful choice is most conducive to well-being, enough to feel autonomous and self-determining, but not so many options that you feel overwhelmed and paralyzed. I also think the kind of freedom matters enormously. Freedom to pursue meaningful relationships, creative work, and personal values tends to produce lasting happiness. Freedom to simply consume endlessly, choosing between hundreds of products or entertainment options, tends to produce only temporary satisfaction.
Simple, bounded freedom exercised with intention. I am going to write that down. Now let's do a quick and fun quiz for our listeners. I will give a definition, and Mark will tell us the correct word or phrase. Listeners, try to answer before Mark speaks. First, this is the freedom to say what you think without punishment. What is the correct term in English? Think about it. We talked about this earlier in today's episode. It's one of the most fundamental freedoms in a democratic society, and it's protected by law in many countries around the world. Can you remember the term?
The answer is freedom of speech. The complete phrase is freedom of speech, the right to express your opinions, ideas, and beliefs without fear of punishment. Well done to all our listeners who got it right. Let me give the next quiz question. This is the phrase we use to describe a person who has no commitments or responsibilities and is completely free. Think about it carefully. It's a fun, informal English idiom. We mentioned it earlier in the episode when we talked about freedom expressions and idioms. It has 4 words. The phrase describes someone who is free to go anywhere and do whatever they choose. It sounds a little old-fashioned, but is still used today.
The answer is footloose and fancy-free. A person who is footloose and fancy-free has no ties, no responsibilities, and is completely free to do whatever they wish. A truly free spirit. Now here is my final quiz question for our listeners. This is the name for the type of freedom that Viktor Frankl wrote about, the freedom that exists even in very difficult circumstances, inside a person's own heart and mind. It's a 2-word phrase, and we discussed it in today's episode. Even when people are physically restricted or in a very hard situation, they can still have this type of freedom. Think about your answer.
The answer is inner freedom. Viktor Frankl wrote about inner freedom, the freedom to choose your attitude, your values, and your response to any situation, no matter how difficult. Even when external circumstances are beyond our control, inner freedom remains available to everyone. This idea is profoundly hopeful and empowering. It means that true freedom is never completely taken from a person. Something essential always remains. 3 for 3 on the quiz. I hope our listeners enjoyed testing their knowledge. This topic is so rich and so important. Freedom is not just a political concept, it's something every person experiences, thinks about, and seeks in their own life every single day.
What a rich, deep, and inspiring episode this has been. I feel genuinely moved by everything we discussed today. Let me give a final summary. We talked about the many types of freedom. Freedom of speech, movement, religion, and personal freedom. We discussed freedom and responsibility, financial freedom, and freedom in relationships. We explored creative freedom, the feeling of freedom in nature, and the philosophical question of absolute freedom. We talked about education as a path to freedom, technology and freedom, and great historical freedom fighters. We shared beautiful idioms and expressions about freedom, and we explored inner freedom, perhaps the most profound kind of all. Freedom is one of the most beautiful and important human values.
Thank you so much, Anna. This was one of the most meaningful and thought-provoking episodes we have ever made together. And a huge thank you to every single listener who spent this special time with us. Freedom is not something to take for granted. It is precious, complex, and worth thinking about deeply. Whether your freedom is political, personal, financial, creative, or inner, it matters. Use today's English vocabulary and phrases in your real conversations. Talk about what freedom means to you. Ask a friend what makes them feel free. Discuss the freedoms you value most. Language and freedom are connected. Every word you learn in English gives you more freedom to understand and engage.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so happy you are here with us today. This podcast is made for beginner English learners, and every episode is simple, fun, and useful. Today, we have a really important and motivating topic. We're going to talk about not wasting your time. Time is the one thing we all have equally. Everyone gets 24 hours in a day, but how we use those hours makes a huge difference in our lives. I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Mark. Mark, say hello and tell us, do you ever feel like you are wasting time?
Hello, hello. Thank you, Anna. Hi to all our wonderful listeners. Do I ever feel like I'm wasting time? Honestly, yes, sometimes. I think everyone does. But over the years, I've learned a lot about how to use time more wisely and how to recognize when I'm letting it slip away. Today, Anna and I are going to talk about what it means to waste time, why we do it, how to stop, and how to use your time in ways that make you feel happy, productive, and fulfilled. We will also give you lots of useful English vocabulary and phrases.
Let's start with the basics. What does it mean to waste time? To waste time means to spend time on things that are not useful, important, or meaningful, things that do not help you grow, achieve your goals, or make you happy. The opposite of wasting time is using time well, or spending time productively. Some useful English vocabulary for this topic: productive, doing something useful and getting good results; efficient, completing tasks with the least amount of time or effort wasted; priority, something that is more important than other things; procrastinate, to delay doing something, especially something you should do.
Great vocabulary to start with. The most common ways people waste time are quite relatable. Scrolling endlessly through social media, watching videos and reading posts without any clear purpose, sometimes for hours. Watching TV programs you do not even really enjoy just because the TV is on. Doing small, easy tasks to avoid a bigger, more difficult one. This is called procrastination. Saying yes to things you do not want to do and spending time on other people's priorities instead of your own. Overthinking, spending so much time worrying about decisions that you never actually make them. And waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions before starting something important.
Waiting for the perfect moment. I definitely recognize that one. Now let's talk about why we waste time, because understanding the reason is the first step to changing the habit. There are several common reasons. First, fear. When we are afraid of failure or of not doing something perfectly, we avoid starting. Second, lack of clear goals. If you do not know what you want to achieve, it is very easy to fill your time with unimportant activities. Third, low energy. When we are tired, we tend to choose easy, passive activities rather than meaningful ones. Fourth, distractions. Our phones, notifications, and the internet are designed to grab and hold our attention.
The psychology of wasting time is very interesting. One important reason is what psychologists call instant gratification, choosing something that feels good right now even if it doesn't help you long term. Watching a funny video feels good instantly. Working on a difficult project feels hard now but rewarding later. Our brains are naturally attracted to the easy, immediate reward. Another reason is mental fatigue. When your brain is tired from working hard, it seeks rest through distraction rather than productive rest. Also, lack of structure means without a plan or routine, time easily disappears. And finally, some people waste time because they are simply not aware of how much time they are losing.
Tracking your time? That sounds both scary and extremely useful. Now let's talk about the phrase, "don't waste your time," more directly. This phrase can be used in different ways in English. Sometimes we say it as encouragement. Don't waste your time worrying about things you cannot change. Sometimes we say it as advice. Don't waste your time with people who do not appreciate you. And sometimes we say it to warn someone. Don't waste your time on that project. It will never work. The phrase is very flexible and comes up in many different conversations. Mark, can you give our listeners more examples of how we use this phrase naturally in everyday English conversations?
Sure, here are many natural examples of don't waste your time in everyday use. Don't waste your time watching that show. It is really not good. Don't waste your time explaining it to him. He has already made up his mind. I realized I was wasting my time at that job. He was going nowhere. Stop wasting time on social media and do your homework. She doesn't waste any time. She always gets straight to the point. This is actually a compliment, meaning she's very efficient. I wasted 2 hours trying to fix it, and it wasn't even necessary. Every minute you waste worrying is a minute you could spend doing.
Those examples are perfect. I especially love "she gets straight to the point." What a great compliment for an efficient person. Now, let's talk about time management, because this is one of the most important skills for not wasting time. Time management means planning and controlling how you spend your hours to make sure you achieve your goals and priorities. Some key time management strategies: making a to-do list, writing down everything you need to do, setting priorities, deciding which tasks are most important and doing those first, using a schedule or planner, assigning specific times to specific tasks, breaking large tasks into small steps so they feel less overwhelming.
Yes, time management is something I think about every day. My personal system is quite simple. Every evening, I write a short list of the 3 most important things I want to achieve the next day. Just 3, not 20. Keeping the list short forces me to think carefully about what really matters. In the morning, I do the most difficult or most important task first, before I check emails or social media. This is called eating the frog, doing the hardest thing first so everything else feels easy afterward. I also use a simple timer technique, working for 25 minutes without distraction, then taking a 5-minute break. This is called the Pomodoro technique.
Eating the frog. What a vivid and memorable phrase. Now, let's talk about the difference between being busy and being productive, because these are not the same thing. Many people are very busy all day, but do not actually achieve much that is truly important or meaningful. Being busy means your time is full of activity. Being productive means your activity is leading to real results and progress toward your goals. In English, we have a useful expression: working smarter, not harder. This means focusing your effort on the things that actually matter, rather than filling your day with tasks that keep you busy but do not move you forward.
The difference is so important. Here is a clear example. Imagine 2 students. Student A studies for 5 hours, but spends most of that time looking at her phone, reorganizing her notes, and making her workspace look nice. She feels very busy, but she does not learn much. Student B studies for 2 hours with complete focus, no phone, clear goals, active reading. She feels less busy, but she learns much more. Student B is productive. Student A is just busy. Another example. A person who attends many meetings at work all day long might feel very busy, but if those meetings do not lead to decisions or progress, they are not productive.
Am I making progress toward what actually matters to me? What a powerful question to ask yourself. Now, let's talk about procrastination in more detail, because this is one of the biggest reasons people waste time. Procrastination means delaying or postponing tasks, especially important ones, in favor of easier or more enjoyable activities. Almost everyone procrastinates sometimes, but chronic procrastination, doing it all the time, can seriously harm your productivity, your career, and even your mental health. The feeling of having unfinished tasks hanging over you is very stressful. In English, common procrastination phrases include, "I will do it later," "I will start tomorrow," "I'm not in the mood right now," "I will wait until..."
Procrastination is such a common struggle. The main reason people procrastinate is that the task feels uncomfortable, too difficult, too boring, too overwhelming, or too connected to a fear of failure or judgment. The brain avoids discomfort instinctively. The trick is to make starting easier, not finishing. The hardest part of any task is almost always the beginning, so one powerful strategy is commit to doing just 2 minutes of the task, just 2 minutes. Often, once you start, momentum builds and you continue naturally. Another strategy is to remove temptations. Put your phone in another room, close unnecessary browser tabs, and create a distraction-free environment. And remind yourself how good it feels to finish something.
Commit to just 2 minutes. Such a clever and practical strategy. Just starting is often the hardest part, and once you begin, it becomes much easier to continue. Now, let's talk about something many people find difficult: saying no. One of the biggest ways people waste time is by saying yes to things they do not want to do, helping with tasks that are not their responsibility, attending events they don't enjoy, or taking on extra work when they are already too busy. Learning to say no kindly but clearly is an essential skill for protecting your time.
Saying no is a skill that takes practice, but it gets easier. Here are some natural, polite ways to say no. I really appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't commit to that right now. I'm sorry, I already have plans. That sounds interesting, but it's not the right time for me. I need to protect my time at the moment. I'm going to have to pass on this one, but thank you. An important mindset shift is remembering that every time you say yes to something you don't want to do, you are saying no to something you do. Your time and energy are limited and valuable.
If it is not a clear yes, it is a no. I love that rule. Now, let's talk about the role of habits in time management, because our daily habits have an enormous impact on how productively we use our time. A habit is something you do regularly, almost automatically without thinking. Good habits, like waking up early, exercising in the morning, or spending the first hour of your day on important work, save time and build consistency. Bad habits, like checking your phone first thing in the morning, staying up too late, or skipping planned tasks, waste time and reduce your energy.
My most important time-protecting habit is my morning routine. I wake up at the same time every day, no snoozing the alarm. The first 30 minutes of my morning are screen-free. I drink water, stretch gently, and think about what I want to achieve that day. This calm, intentional start sets a positive tone for the whole day. Another important habit, I batch similar tasks together. For example, I check and reply to all emails at specific times, not constantly throughout the day. Constantly checking emails and messages is one of the biggest time wasters in modern life.
Screen-free mornings and batching tasks, both such practical and effective habits. Now let's talk about distractions, because distractions are one of the greatest enemies of good time use in the modern world. A distraction is anything that takes your attention away from what you are supposed to be doing. In today's world, the biggest distractions are smartphones, especially social media apps and notifications, the internet, easy to start browsing for one thing and find yourself reading something completely unrelated 30 minutes later, television, background noise and interruptions from other people, and our own wandering thoughts. Research shows that after a distraction, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully return to a focused state.
Managing distractions is something I work on constantly. My most effective strategies? First, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb mode when I need to focus, or I physically leave it in another room. Out of sight really does mean out of mind. Second, I use website blocking apps during work sessions. These prevent me from visiting distracting sites like social media. Third, I communicate my focus time to the people around me, letting them know I need uninterrupted time so they do not disturb me unnecessarily. Fourth, I work in blocks of focus time with short breaks so my brain gets scheduled rest rather than seeking distraction randomly.
A distraction list for random thoughts, that is genius. Writing ideas down instead of chasing them in your head keeps you focused and does not lose the thought. Now let's talk about social media and screen time specifically, because this is probably the most common time waster for people today. Research shows that the average person spends about 6 to 7 hours per day looking at screens, phones, computers, and televisions. Social media platforms are specifically designed to keep you scrolling as long as possible, using psychology to trigger dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical, with every notification, like, and new post.
My relationship with social media has changed a lot over the years. I used to scroll mindlessly for long periods and feel vaguely empty afterward. Now I approach it much more intentionally. I deleted most social media apps from my phone and only access them on my computer at specific limited times. I set a daily 30-minute limit for social media, enough to stay connected without losing hours. I also regularly ask myself, is this adding value to my life or am I just passing time? If the honest answer is the second one, I put the phone down.
The feeling without the substance. That is such a powerful and honest description of mindless scrolling. Now let's talk about the value of rest and leisure, because not all non-productive time is wasted time. This is a really important distinction. Rest is necessary and healthy. Your brain and body need recovery time to function well. Leisure activities that bring you joy, reading, cooking, spending time with loved ones, walking in nature are not wasted time at all. They restore your energy, nurture your creativity, and contribute to your overall well-being and happiness. The key difference is intentionality. Choosing to relax and enjoy yourself is very different from mindlessly drifting from one distraction to another.
Restorative rest is so important and so different from passive time wasting. Here's the distinction I use. Genuine rest leaves you feeling refreshed, energized, and ready to engage with life again. True leisure activities are ones you actively choose because they bring you real joy or restoration. For me, restorative activities include sleeping 8 hours and taking short walks, reading books that genuinely interest me, cooking a new recipe, having meaningful conversations with friends, spending time in nature, and doing absolutely nothing, sitting quietly, thinking, watching the world. What does not restore me? Scrolling social media, watching TV I'm not truly enjoying, or staying in bed beyond what my body actually needs.
After this activity, do I feel better or worse? The perfect test for genuine rest versus time wasting. Now let's talk about goals and time, because having clear goals is one of the most powerful motivators for using time well. When you know exactly what you want to achieve, it is much easier to make decisions about how to spend your time. A useful framework for setting goals is the SMART system. SMART stands for specific, clearly defined, not vague; measurable, you can track your progress; achievable, realistic, not impossible; relevant, connected to what truly matters to you; and time-bound, with a deadline.
Clear goals are transformative for time management. When you have a specific goal with a deadline, every day becomes clearer. You can look at any activity and ask, does this bring me closer to my goal or does it not? If the answer is no, you can choose to spend less time on it. Goals also create motivation and momentum. Progress toward a meaningful goal feels very different from just being busy. Even small daily progress builds confidence and energy. For language learners especially, having a clear goal like, I want to hold a 5-minute conversation in English by the end of this month is so much more motivating and actionable than just, I want to improve my eng.
Time as a tool for building the life you want. What a beautiful way to think about it. Now, let's do a fun quiz for our listeners. I will describe a situation, and Mark will say whether this person is wasting time or using their time well, and why. Ready? Situation 1. Maria has a big exam in 3 days. She sits down to study, but first spends 20 minutes tidying her desk, sharpening all her pencils, organizing her notes by color, and making a cup of tea. Then she checks her phone briefly. Then she thinks about what to study first. After an hour, she has not actually studied anything. Listeners, what do you think?
Maria is definitely wasting her time, in a very common and recognizable way. What Maria is doing is called productive procrastination, doing tasks that feel useful and organized, but are actually just ways of avoiding the real task, which is studying. Tidying her desk and color-coding her notes feel productive, but they are not the priority right now. The exam is the priority. This pattern is very common because our brains like to do easy, satisfying tasks to avoid the more difficult but more important one. The solution for Maria: set a timer for 25 minutes, open the textbook to the first topic and begin, even if she does not feel completely ready.
Starting imperfectly is always better than waiting perfectly and never beginning. Perfect advice for Maria and for all of us. Now, situation 2 for our quiz. James finishes work at 6 in the evening. He comes home, changes his clothes, and goes for a 30-minute run. Then he cooks a simple dinner while listening to an English podcast. After dinner, he reads a book for 45 minutes. Then he calls his mother for 20 minutes. At 9:30, he puts his phone away and goes to bed at 10:30. Listeners, is James wasting his time? Think about it. His evening seems full of activities, but are they meaningful? Mark, what is your verdict this time?
James is absolutely using his time beautifully. Every activity in his evening is intentional and restorative. Exercise, excellent for physical and mental health. Cooking while listening to a podcast, multitasking in a genuinely useful way, enjoying a skill and learning at the same time. reading, personal growth, and genuine relaxation. Calling his mother, maintaining an important relationship, and going to bed at a reasonable hour, protecting his sleep and energy for tomorrow. None of these activities is passive or mindless. James is choosing activities that serve his health, his learning, his relationships, and his well-being. This is the ideal evening, not because it is perfect, but because every choice is deliberate and meaningful.
James is my new role model for evenings. Now let's talk about something that many people struggle with, the fear of missing out, or FOMO. FOMO is a common modern feeling, the anxiety that other people are doing exciting things and you're missing out by not being there or not being involved. FOMO often drives people to waste enormous amounts of time on social media, checking what others are doing, attending events they do not truly want to attend, or constantly looking at their phone. The solution to FOMO is sometimes called JOMO, the joy of missing out. This means finding genuine contentment and peace in your own choices, even when others are doing something different.
FOMO is very real, and I have definitely experienced it. The turning point for me was realizing that social media only shows the highlights of people's lives, the best moments, the most exciting experiences. It's never the full picture. So comparing your ordinary Tuesday to someone else's curated holiday photos is always going to make your life seem less interesting, even when your life is actually wonderful. I now practice JOMO very deliberately. When I choose to stay home and read instead of going to a loud party, I enjoy that choice fully, rather than wondering what I'm missing.
Comparison is the thief of joy. That is one of my favorite English expressions. And presence is the antidote to FOMO. What a beautiful and wise thought. Now let's talk about the relationship between time and energy, because managing your energy is just as important as managing your time. You might have 24 hours in a day, but if you spend them exhausted and unfocused, you will not use them well. Understanding when your energy is highest, when you feel most alert, creative, and motivated, is very useful for scheduling your most important tasks at those times. For most people, energy is highest in the morning.
Energy management is something I think about a lot. I have noticed clear patterns in my own energy. My mental energy is highest in the morning. This is when I do my most creative and demanding work. I protect this time fiercely. No emails, no social media, no meetings if possible. Mid-afternoon, around 2 or 3 o'clock, my energy naturally dips. This is normal. Our bodies have a biological tendency toward a rest period in early afternoon. Instead of fighting it with caffeine, I use this time for lighter tasks, responding to emails, attending meetings, or doing administrative work. In the late afternoon, energy often rises again for several hours.
Working with your natural energy rhythms, what a smart and practical approach. Now let's give our listeners some final practical tips for not wasting time. These are simple, actionable steps they can start using immediately. Tip 1. Start each day by identifying your top 3 priorities. Tip 2. Do the most important task first before distractions begin. Tip 3. Put your phone away during focused work time. Tip 4. Use a timer. Work in focused blocks with short breaks. Tip 5. Track your time for 1 week. Write down what you do each hour. The results might surprise you. Tip 6. Learn to say no kindly but clearly.
More practical tips. Tip 8. Set specific times for checking emails and social media, not continuously throughout the day. Tip 9. Get enough sleep. A tired mind wastes far more time than a rested one. Tip 10. Remove apps from your phone that consume time without adding value. Tip 11. Plan your week on Sunday evening. Knowing your schedule reduces decision fatigue during the week. Tip 12. Stop multitasking. Research shows that doing 2 things at once means doing them both worse. Focus on one thing at a time. Tip 13. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Getting 80% of something done is far better than planning a perfect version forever.
Every hour is an hour of your one precious life. That is perhaps the most important reminder of the entire episode. Let me now give a final summary of everything we talked about today. We discussed what it means to waste time and why people do it: fear, lack of goals, distractions, and procrastination. We talked about the difference between being busy and being productive. We explored procrastination and practical strategies to overcome it. We discussed saying no, daily habits, distractions, social media, and the value of true rest. We talked about SMART goals, energy management, FOMO and JOMO, and we did a fun quiz with Maria and James.
Thank you so much, Anna. This was one of my favorite episodes. And a huge thank you to every single listener who spent this time with us today. And what an appropriate topic that is. You chose to spend time listening to this podcast, learning English, and thinking about how to live more intentionally. That is already an excellent use of your time. Take today's ideas and try just one or two of them this week. Put your phone away for 1 hour. Write your top 3 priorities tomorrow morning. Say no to one thing that does not serve you. Small changes made consistently create enormous transformations over time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so glad you are here with us today. This podcast is made for beginner English learners, and every episode is simple, warm, and useful. Today, we have a very important and meaningful topic. We are going to talk about how to stay positive during hard times. Life is not always easy. Everyone goes through difficult periods: problems at work, health challenges, financial worries, or personal losses. Knowing how to stay positive during these moments is one of the most valuable skills you can have. I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Mark.
Hello, hello. Thank you, Anna. Hi to all our wonderful listeners. Yes, absolutely. Like everyone, I have been through difficult periods in my life. Times when things felt very heavy, and it was genuinely hard to find the energy or optimism to keep going. But looking back, I can honestly say that those hard times taught me the most, strengthened me the most, and ultimately led me to better places. Today, Anna and I are going to share practical strategies, useful English vocabulary, and honest, heartfelt advice about how to maintain a positive mindset when life is challenging. Whether you are going through something difficult right now or just want to be prepared, this episode is for you.
Let's start with some important vocabulary. Hard times means a difficult period in your life, when things are not going well. You might also hear tough times, a rough patch, or a difficult period. These all mean the same thing. To stay positive means to keep a good attitude and hopeful mindset, even when circumstances are difficult. Resilience is a very important word. It means the ability to recover from difficulties and keep going. A resilient person is someone who faces problems but does not give up. Mindset is the way you think about things, your mental attitude. And coping means managing and dealing with a difficult situation.
Of course. Here are natural example sentences. She has been going through a really tough time since she lost her job, but she's handling it with incredible strength. He's one of the most resilient people I know. Nothing seems to keep him down for long. Having a positive mindset does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on what you can control. Coping with grief takes time. There is no right or wrong way to do it. It's okay to have bad days. What matters is how you cope with them. After a rough patch, things always get better. She changed her mindset and everything started to feel more.
Those example sentences are so natural and so useful. Now let's talk about why positivity matters during hard times. When life is difficult, it is very easy to fall into negative thinking, focusing only on what is wrong, worrying about the future, and feeling helpless or hopeless. This is completely natural and human. However, research in psychology shows that people who maintain a generally positive outlook during difficult times recover faster, experience less stress, make better decisions, and have stronger immune systems and better physical health. Positivity does not mean ignoring problems or pretending to be happy when you're not. It means choosing to also notice what is good, what is possible, and what you can learn.
Positivity during hard times is important for so many reasons. First, your mindset directly affects your actions. When you feel hopeless, you stop trying. When you maintain even a small sense of hope, you keep looking for solutions. Second, positivity affects the people around you. A positive attitude is contagious and supportive to everyone in your life. Third, hard times are temporary. Every difficult period eventually ends, and maintaining positivity helps you survive until it does. The phrase, "this too shall pass," is one of the most comforting things you can say to yourself during a hard time. It means whatever you are going through right now will not last forever.
This too shall pass, one of the most comforting phrases in the English language. Now let's talk about the first and most important strategy for staying positive during hard times: accepting your feelings. Many people think that staying positive means not feeling sad, angry, afraid, or upset, but this is wrong. Trying to push away or ignore negative emotions actually makes them stronger and more persistent. Real positivity begins with acceptance, honestly acknowledging that you feel sad, angry, scared, or overwhelmed. In English, it's okay to feel this way. I'm allowed to feel sad right now. I'm going through something hard, and that's valid. Accepting how you feel without judgment is the foundation.
Accepting feelings is absolutely the foundation. Psychologists call the unhealthy practice of pushing away emotions emotional suppression, and research shows it causes more stress, not less. When you say, "I shouldn't feel this way," or "I have no reason to be upset," you're fighting your own natural human response to a real situation. This wastes enormous mental energy. Instead, name your emotion. "I feel anxious. I feel sad. I feel overwhelmed." Just naming it accurately brings immediate relief. This is called name it to tame it in psychology. Accepting a feeling doesn't mean staying in it forever. It means acknowledging it honestly so you can process it and move forward.
Name it to tame it. What a wonderful and memorable phrase. Now, let's talk about the power of connection, reaching out to other people during hard times. One of the most powerful things you can do when life is difficult is to talk to someone you trust. Sharing your struggles with a good friend, family member, or counselor does not make you weak. It makes you wise and brave. In English, I needed to talk to someone. Talking about it really helped me feel better. She was there for me when I needed her most. I reached out to a friend, and it made a huge difference. Sharing the problem made it feel smaller.
Connection has been absolutely essential during every difficult period of my life. When things feel dark and overwhelming, isolating yourself, pulling away from people, makes everything harder and heavier. Reaching out, even when it feels difficult, is always the right choice. Here are some natural phrases for asking for support. "I am going through a hard time and could really use some company." "Can we talk? I need to process some things." "I just need someone to listen. I am not looking for advice, just support." "Would you be free to chat this week?" And phrases for offering support. "I am here for you no matter what." You do not have to go through this alone.
Human connection is medicine for the soul. Beautifully said. Now, let's talk about gratitude, because practicing gratitude during hard times is one of the most researched and most effective positivity strategies available. It might sound strange. How can you feel grateful when things are going badly? But gratitude during hard times does not mean being glad that bad things are happening. It means intentionally noticing what is still good, still present, and still working in your life, even when something else is very difficult. Research shows that writing down 3 things you are grateful for every day, even very small things, significantly increases happiness and reduces stress over time.
Gratitude practice during hard times is something I return to again and again. When things are difficult, I force myself to notice even the tiniest good things: the warmth of a cup of tea, a kind text from a friend, sunlight through a window, the fact that I am breathing and alive. These small things can feel almost irrelevant next to a big problem, but noticing them reconnects you to the reality that life still contains beauty and goodness even in difficult moments. I write in a gratitude journal every evening, just 3 short lines. On hard days, I allow myself to write very simple things. I am grateful for my warm bed. I am grateful that today I had money for food. I am grateful that I had a friend who listened.
Small gratitude is still powerful gratitude. I love that. Now, let's talk about the importance of routine during hard times, because when life feels out of control, having a simple daily routine creates a sense of structure, stability, and predictability that is genuinely comforting. When everything around you feels uncertain or painful, the small, familiar rituals of daily life become anchors. Making your bed in the morning, having your usual cup of coffee, going for a short walk at the same time each day, preparing a simple meal. These small acts of routine remind you that you still have agency, the power to act and choose, even when the bigger circumstances are out of your hands.
Routine has saved me during hard times. When I went through a particularly difficult period a few years ago, everything felt chaotic and uncertain. The one thing that helped me most was maintaining my daily routine, even a very simple one. Waking up at the same time, making breakfast, going outside for 20 minutes. These small acts felt almost too simple to matter, but they mattered enormously. They told me that I was still here, still capable, still moving. A useful phrase for this is just keep putting one foot in front of the other. It means keep doing the next small thing even when the big picture feels overwhelming. You do not need to solve everything today.
One foot in front of the other and one day at a time, 2 of the most comforting English phrases for hard times. Now let's talk about the importance of physical health and positivity, because how you treat your body during hard times directly affects how you feel mentally and emotionally. When life is difficult, many people either stop eating well, stop sleeping properly, or stop exercising, sometimes doing all 3 at once. But this is exactly the wrong response. Your body and your mind are deeply connected. When you are physically depleted, your emotional resilience drops significantly. Simple physical self-care acts become especially important during difficult times. Drinking enough water, eating regular nutritious meals, sleeping as much as possible.
Physical habits were genuinely life-saving during hard times. Here's what I held on to. Sleep first. Even when my mind was racing and anxious, I prioritized lying down, resting, and giving my body recovery time. Poor sleep makes every problem feel 10 times worse. Walking outside, second. Even a 15-minute walk changed my emotional state significantly. Something about movement, fresh air, and natural light is incredibly healing for the anxious or sad mind. Eating something nourishing. Even when appetite is low, eating simple, real food keeps your energy and mood more stable. And reducing alcohol. People often drink more during hard times, but alcohol is a depressant and makes emotional lows much lower.
Looking after yourself is radical during hard times. That is so true. Now let's talk about the power of perspective. Perspective means how you see and interpret a situation. The same event can look very different depending on how you look at it. During hard times, our perspective often narrows. We see only the problem, only the pain, only what is lost. But consciously shifting perspective, choosing to look at the situation from a different angle, can be genuinely transformative. Some useful questions for shifting perspective: will this matter in 5 years? What can I learn from this experience? How have I grown from difficult things in the past? Is there any positive that could...
Perspective is one of the most powerful tools we have, and it genuinely takes practice. A technique I use is called zooming out, stepping back mentally from the immediate difficulty and seeing it in a bigger context. For example, if I lose a job, the immediate feeling is panic and failure. But zoomed out, many people have lost jobs and found better ones. This could open a new door. My worth is not my job. This is one chapter, not the whole story. Another technique is what psychologists call post-traumatic growth, the real phenomenon where people often discover new strengths, deeper relationships, and clearer values as a result of going through hard experiences.
What does not kill you makes you stronger is such a famous English expression. Now let's talk about limiting the news and negative information during hard times. When you are already struggling emotionally, consuming large amounts of negative news, social media, or toxic conversations can make your mental state significantly worse. In English, we have the phrase garbage in, garbage out, meaning that the information you put into your mind affects what comes out. If you fill your mind with fear and negativity, you will feel fearful and negative. During hard times especially, it is important to be mindful of what information you allow into your mental space.
Managing information input is so important during hard times. Here's what I do. First, I check the news once a day, not constantly throughout the day. Constant news creates constant anxiety without adding much extra knowledge. Second, I limit or pause social media during difficult periods. Seeing other people's highlight reels when you are struggling is genuinely harmful to your mental state. Third, I'm selective about what conversations I have and with whom. During hard times, I prioritize conversations with supportive, kind, and constructive people, and limit time with those who are negative or draining.
Curating your information environment? What a smart and modern concept. Now let's talk about something very powerful, helping others. It might seem counterintuitive when you are struggling yourself, why would you help others? But research consistently shows that acts of kindness and helping others during your own hard times is one of the most effective ways to boost your own well-being. When you focus on someone else's needs, even briefly, it shifts your perspective away from your own pain. It reminds you that you still have something to give. It creates a feeling of purpose and connection. In English, helping someone else helped me feel better too. Being useful to someone gave me a reason to get.
Yes, very powerfully. During one of the most challenging periods of my life, I started volunteering at a local charity once a week. My own problems felt overwhelming, but for a few hours each week, I focused entirely on helping others in different but equally real situations. The effect was remarkable. When I left each week, my own problems felt slightly lighter, not because they had changed, but because my perspective had. I was reminded that pain is universal, that kindness matters, and that I was still capable and still useful. There's also a beautiful chemical explanation. Helping others triggers the release of serotonin and oxytocin, brain chemicals associated with happiness and connection.
A small act of kindness is good for the giver as much as the receiver. So beautifully true. Now let's talk about professional help, because sometimes hard times are very serious and the strategies we have discussed on their own are not enough. There is absolutely no shame in seeking professional support during difficult times. Seeing a therapist, counselor, or psychologist is a sign of wisdom and courage, not weakness. Mental health is just as real and important as physical health. If you had a broken leg, you would see a doctor. Emotional pain deserves the same care and attention.
Professional support is something I feel very strongly about. Therapy and counseling have helped millions of people navigate genuinely difficult life experiences: grief, trauma, anxiety, depression, relationship difficulties, and many more. There is still some stigma around mental health support in many cultures, the idea that needing help means you're not strong enough. But I think the opposite is true. Recognizing that you need help and actively seeking it is one of the strongest things a person can do. In English, we now commonly say, "I'm in therapy," the same way we might say, "I go to the gym," without embarrassment or apology. Mental health care is self-care.
I am in therapy the same way I say I go to the gym. I love that normalization. Now let's do a quiz for our listeners. I will describe someone going through a hard time and how they are coping, and Mark will say whether their approach is helpful or unhelpful and why. Ready? Here is the first situation. Lisa has just lost her job. She feels very sad and scared. She calls her best friend and says, I need to talk. I am going through something hard. Her friend comes over and just listens for an hour. Lisa cries. She feels a little better afterward. Mark, is Lisa coping well with this situation?
Lisa is coping really well. Let me explain what she is doing right. First, she acknowledged her feelings. She did not pretend to be fine or push her emotions away. She allowed herself to feel sad and scared, which is healthy. Second, she reached out for connection. She called a friend instead of isolating herself. This took courage. Third, she was specific about what she needed. She said, "I need to talk," which is clear and honest communication. Fourth, she allowed herself to cry. Emotional release is healthy and physically beneficial. And fifth, she noticed that she felt better afterward. She's paying attention to what helps her cope.
Excellent analysis of Lisa's situation. Now, let's look at the second quiz scenario. This one is quite different. James has been going through serious financial difficulties for several months now. Instead of talking to anyone about it, he stays at home completely alone every evening, watches negative news for hours, stops exercising sometimes, and drinks more alcohol than usual to cope. He tells himself he just needs to figure it all out on his own. He feels worse every single week. Mark, what exactly is James doing wrong, and what specific changes would you recommend for him to start feeling better?
Poor James. He is making several common but harmful mistakes. First, isolating himself. Going through hard times alone makes everything heavier. He needs connection. Second, consuming negative news for hours. This amplifies anxiety without helping. He should limit news to once a day. Third, stopping exercise and skipping meals. Physically depleting himself is making his emotional state much worse. Fourth, drinking more alcohol. This is a depressant that will deepen his lows significantly. And fifth, the figure-it-out-alone mentality. Pride is stopping him from getting help he genuinely needs. My specific recommendations: call one trusted friend today, go for one walk outside, eat one proper meal, turn off the news.
Perfect advice for James. Small steps in the right direction make a huge difference over time. Now, I want to share some beautiful and comforting English phrases that you can say to yourself or to someone else during hard times. These are phrases that bring comfort, hope, and perspective. You are stronger than you think. This will not last forever. You have survived hard things before. One day at a time. It is okay to not be okay. You are not alone in this. Better days are coming. You are doing the best you can. This is a chapter, not your whole story. And one of my personal favorites, after the storm comes the rainbow. Mark, what are your favorites?
I love this collection. Here are some more of my favorites. Every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day, reminding us to look for small lights even in dark times. Tough times never last, but tough people do. Very empowering and motivating. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. The Japanese proverb, meaning resilience is about getting up one more time than you fall. The darkest hour is just before dawn. When things seem at their worst, improvement may be very close. You cannot pour from an empty cup, reminding us to take care of ourselves. Everything will be all right in the end.
If it is not okay, it is not the end. I think that might be the most comforting sentence in the English language. Now, let's talk about something that many people overlook during hard times. Rest. Real rest. When life is difficult, many people feel guilty about resting. They feel they should be doing something, fixing something, or working harder to solve the problem. But rest is not laziness during hard times. Rest is medicine. Rest is recovery. When you are carrying emotional or physical weight, your body and mind need extra recovery time, not less. In English, I need to rest and recover. Give yourself permission to rest. Rest is productive. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Giving myself permission to rest during hard times is something I have had to actively learn. It did not come naturally. My mind used to say, resting is wasting time when things are hard. You should be solving the problem. But I've learned that rest is essential, not optional, during difficult periods.
Here's how I give myself genuine permission. First, I remind myself that a rested mind thinks more clearly and solves problems better than an exhausted one. Second, I reframe rest as an active choice, not a passive failure. I'm choosing to rest so I can face tomorrow better. Feels very different from I'm giving up for today. And third, I make rest intentional.
Rest with intention is genuinely restorative. I love how you reframe it as an active, positive choice. Now let's talk about creativity and expression as tools for staying positive. Many people find that engaging in creative activities during hard times is incredibly helpful, not to produce perfect work, but to express what is inside and process difficult emotions. Writing in a journal, drawing or painting, playing music, dancing, cooking a new recipe, gardening. These activities get you out of your head and into your hands. They create something, even when life feels like it is taking things away.
Creativity has been a significant source of healing for me during difficult periods. Writing, especially, keeping a journal during hard times, allows me to externalize the thoughts that would otherwise circle endlessly in my mind. Getting thoughts onto paper makes them more manageable and more clearly visible. I can see patterns, question them, and release them more easily when they are written down rather than trapped in my head. I also play the guitar sometimes, not professionally, just for myself. Playing music is one of the few activities that fully absorbs my attention and gives my worried mind a complete rest.
Lose yourself in something. Such a perfect expression for creative immersion. Now let's talk about hope, because hope is perhaps the most essential ingredient for staying positive during hard times. Hope is the belief that things can and will get better, that the current situation is not permanent, and that good things are still possible in the future. In English, hope-related phrases include, "I have not given up hope. There is still reason to hope. I believe things will get better. Hold on, better days are coming. Never lose hope." Hope does not mean being naive or ignoring reality. It means maintaining a genuine belief in the possibility of positive change.
Holding on to hope during dark times is something I do very deliberately. Several things help me. First, evidence from the past. I remind myself of previous hard times I survived and eventually moved through. If I did it before, I can do it again. Second, small improvements. Even on the darkest days, there are usually tiny signs of progress or small good moments. I look for these actively. Third, other people's stories. Reading or hearing about people who survived very difficult situations and found joy and meaning again is genuinely inspiring. Fourth, the simple passage of time. Every day that passes is a day further from the beginning of the difficulty and closer to its end.
Hope is the light in the darkness. What a beautiful and true image. Now let's give our listeners a final practical toolkit for staying positive during hard times. A simple list of strategies they can use immediately. Strategy 1, accept your feelings without judgment. Strategy 2, reach out to someone you trust. Do not isolate. Strategy 3, practice daily gratitude. Even just 3 small things. Strategy 4, maintain a simple daily routine. Strategy 5, take care of your physical body. Sleep, water, movement, food. Strategy 6, shift your perspective. Ask, what can I learn? Strategy 7, limit negative information and curate your mental environment.
Continuing the toolkit. Strategy 10, use creativity and expression. Write, draw, play, create. Strategy 11, hold on to hope, even the smallest kind. Strategy 12, seek professional support if needed. There is no shame in this. Strategy 13, remind yourself that this is temporary. This too shall pass. Strategy 14, find meaning. Ask yourself what this experience might be teaching you or building in you. Strategy 15, be gentle with yourself. Do not add self-criticism to an already heavy load. And strategy 16, celebrate small victories. Getting through a hard day is a real achievement worth acknowledging.
What a comprehensive and compassionate toolkit. I feel genuinely comforted just reading through that list. Let me now give a final summary of today's episode. We talked about what positivity during hard times really means, not pretending to be happy, but choosing to also notice what is good and possible. We discussed accepting feelings, the power of connection, gratitude practice, and the importance of routine. We talked about physical health, perspective, managing information, and helping others. We explored professional support, rest, creativity, hope, and comforting English phrases. We did a quiz about Lisa and James, and we built a complete 16-step toolkit for staying positive during hard times. Thank you so much to every listener who joined us today.
Thank you so much, Anna. This was one of the most meaningful episodes we have ever created. And a very big thank you to every single listener who was here with us today. If you are going through a hard time right now, I want to say directly to you, I am proud of you for still showing up, still learning, still trying. That takes real courage. Hard times are part of every human life. They do not make you broken, they make you human, and they will pass. Use the strategies we shared today. Reach out to someone. Be kind to yourself. Hold on to hope.